We're quite advanced by now analyzing the past year. We spoke about analyzing the business environment, we spoke about market analysis, we spoke about competitive analysis, and then we moved on to segmentation, market segmentation. We spoke about the marketing mix, we spoke about the SWOT and the TOWs, and now we're quite more advanced to finish the first chapter, it's about time, talking about positioning. And again, it's a term which you use often, but in a wrong context. You say, my company is positioned very well or very high. What does it really mean? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about perceptual maps. How can I take your perceptions, whether you are customers or consumers, as we have explained talking about segmentation, how can I take your perceptions and demonstrate them in a basic perceptual map? Simple as that. In order to create a perceptual map or positioning, we need to use different materials, different methodologies, different concepts that we have learned. We have to take something to do with competitive analysis. We have to take something from that. We have to use, in our recipe, segmentation. We have to consult the SWOT, and mainly, as we saw, the USPs of the SWOT. So, in large, I'm looking for perceptions. I'm looking for perceptions of my target audiences. I'm looking for their perception, what do they think about our brand against competitive brands. And really what I'm comparing is the best optimal elements, points, where I'm better or I'm worse than my competition, which is coming from the SWOT. So I'm comparing X and Y, X and Y. So for the sake of the example, we'll take British Airways. We'll just take long-haul destinations, just London, New York, okay? Just London, New York will be our issue here. We'd like to see whether it has a meaning. It doesn't have a meaning here. I'm trying to compare British Airways to its competitors. So we're looking at competitors flying London, New York. We're looking to ask the targeted audiences, let's take just the business class. What do they think about BA as a brand? What do they perceive? The key word here is perception. What do they perceive of British Airways? But under what attributes? We'll take, as we've seen before in the SWOT, we'll take the USP. Let's take here two examples, comfort and schedule when we speak about airlines. Some of us are flying too often while working. Some of us are flying less and thinking about our next vacation, flying out with our families. Let's talk about the business class only, British Airways only, London, New York only. I have three elements for the recipe. I hope it's clear now that we have to ask the target audiences. We have to ask them, what do you think of BA against its direct competitors in this leg of London, New York? And asking certain attributes which came very high in the SWOT analysis. Let's call this USP 1 and USP 2, which means that the most advanced competitive advantage of BA was schedule, which means that there are many flights in a day flying from London to New York, and as you know, for business people, it is very important. Secondly, came comfort. While seated so many hours, so many times in a year, let's have the comfort, and that's, again, an attribute which is very important. So this, again, doesn't have a meaning. We have to ask the customers basic questions. And if we can give it numbers, it's more clear. So 4 will be, you have the perfect schedule. You have so many flights a day that it's flexible, it's better for us. This would be 4 out of 4. Comfort, 4 out of 4 would mean there's enough space for the legs, the seat is very comfortable, the carriers, the plane that you're working with, is whether it's Airbus, Boeing, and so forth, it is very comfortable. Mainly it's the seat and the space for the legs. This will be 4 out of 4. Ideally, British Airways would like to be there, in the perception of their target audiences. In practice, we'll start to talk about competition. Let's just write here BA. What other airlines do you believe fly this leg? Let's say Delta. Let's say American Airlines. Let's use just these 3 for this example. I'm going to ask targeted audiences, which are at the airport, maybe waiting for the check-in, of these 3 companies, and I'll ask them basic questions. I don't need to spend too much time. They don't have time for me anyway. I can ask basic questions such as, here are 3 airlines flying London, New York. You're about to take one of them, but there are other flights leaving today with other carriers. Can you give me a grade, a rate, between 1 and 4 for comfort? Even if you don't know these airlines, you never flew them, but you have a perception. What do you think about the level of comfort with other airlines? And here they are, talking about schedule. Without really knowing, in your perception, which airline do you believe has more options within a day to get to New York from here? In London we are. And then I might have these positions. BA might be here. American Airlines be there. And let's say Delta will be down here. What does it mean? By the way, in many books, and this is going back to historical issues, in many books we have this issue of quality of service and price. Price, quality of service. It's not the case. If you take an exclusive product, let's take jewelry, price is not an issue. Then you have to take the USPs. USP 1, USP 2, and you have others. So what are we showing here at the moment?